So this is the thing. All of you guys are being attacked at the micro level. Monoclonal antibodies, monoclonal antibodies, bioengineered monoclonal antibodies, DMABs, MABS, M with a capital ABS, lowercase d with an MABS, are what they're synthetic. They're bioengineered. They are antigen, programmed antigen. What are antigen? Anything that the body deems as an invader. And you can program antigen in your body because that's where all of the allergies come from. When you have a peanut allergy, when you have different allergies, you have a your body creates antibodies. It goes after that allergen, that excess antibodies. Why do you have excess antibodies? Because your body isn't releasing them. And then you've been exposed to an antibody that goes after peanut proteins or other food proteins that people become allergic to certain foods. And then they create another antibody to bind to that specific antibody that is then causing your body to go into inflammation. And so now you have a double antibodies in your body to where you become immune to food. So antigen can be programmed, antibodies can be programmed, and they are being put in the vaccines. And then when a person is releasing the excess, they are shedding. And then guess what? The community is being infected, so to speak, with being infected, being exposed to all of those antibodies, monoclonal antibodies. See, the holistic community has you all think that it's the fluoride, it's the mercury, it's the formaldehyde that's causing all of your predispositions, your cancer disease, chronic illness, autoimmunity. No, what the autoimmunity is, the antibodies that are being programmed to replicate and to be induced on an automatic basis. And that's where the fibromyalgia, that's where the lupus comes from. And then you're taking all this cannabis and all these antibiotics to suppress your body's healing because the body wants to survive despite its exposure to these foreign invaders, and then you are suppressing the body's evolution. And that's when you have people not survive heart attacks because those antibodies have shut your vital organs down. So Christians, Muslims, Patriots, Antifa, BLM, you need to do the Jilly juice to release the excess antibodies so you don't expire in the system and become completely like incapacitated because you are now acting adversely to your environment. How many of you have eczema and psoriasis? How many of how many of you have all the different autoimmune disorders? You know, I know many of you who are just sticking your head in the sand. You think that Trump and Biden are the saviors. And when you're looking to government to be your savior, you're not going to save yourself. Guess what? You're going to be taking all the holistic supplements. You're going to think that the government's so good, and you're going to think, oh, your officials are so wonderful, and they're getting paid a shit ton of money. All of your medical holistic people, those that are in the hospitals, your nurses that are administering the vaccines, the doctors, they're getting paid a lot to promote the same propaganda. And so if you're not doing Jilly juice and releasing the excess antibodies, you will be accumulating antibodies. The Jilly juice energizes your immune system to release the excess, the salt, which is the white salt, with the probiotics from the fermentation with the cabbage and kale and the water, and then the food supply will help rebuild your cells and regenerate and heal you from at the micro level. And then you'll be releasing the excess antibodies, and those little nanoparticles and nano whatever it is will also be released in the toilet as well, in your mucus as well as in your poop and your pee. And so when you are doing the Jilly juice and you're healing, you should stay home because you don't want somebody to be pointing you out somewhere, putting you on the radar to then be contact traced or have someone do a diagnosis or a diagnostic test regarding COVID. And you probably have been exposed to COVID, and most likely if you're releasing antibodies, it's going to come up on a titer test. And then guess what? Your whole family, anyone that you've come in contact with is on the radar. And then potentially your child, if you have children, will come up positive. And if you're in the hospital because, you're having a reaction that you're not prepared for, or you are oblivious to the fact that you have to heal, and you check yourself into a hospital, then you'll be separated from your kids. I mean, you don't know how it's going to play out when you voluntarily give yourself to the system. So I'm saying, if you're not going to do Jilly Juice, and I'm telling you, it's not just selling my books. I mean, this is my book here, $15 for this book. Has the protocol in it. You can even add sugar for it if you don't like the salty taste, because yes, you'll get electrolytes. But I have a recipe on my Facebook, on my business account, everywhere. And if you want to understand the protocol and understand the science behind everything and get all the bibliography, it's all right here. And when you have healing symptoms, how to use Jilly Juice for the healing symptoms. But I'm saying, if you don't do Jilly Juice, there's no point in you protesting. There's no point in you being indignant about the system. There's no point in any of that if you're going to freaking die in the system. And if you're Christian and you're okay with them doing this to you and you're not going to do Jilly Juice, then what's the point of you fighting against somebody that's the Antichrist, whoever it is? I'm telling you guys are being played. You need to do Jilly Juice.